Hello everyone and welcome back to the GCSE Maths series. Today we're going to be taking a look at negative and fractional indices, so let's get straight into it. So a negative index or an exponent means you take the reciprocal of the base raised to the positive power. So if we're to have a to the minus n, this would then be equal to 1 over a to the n. So as you can see from here, the negative sign has made us put the positive base a over 1, and we've removed the negative power and kept the original n just without the minus sign. So if we're to look at some examples, we have 3 to the minus 1. The minus 1 makes us put 1 over 3, and then we remove the negative sign and put 3 to the 1. And obviously in this case, that's just going to be 1 over 3. Okay, looking at this, we have 4 to the negative 2. The negative 2 is going to cause us to put 1 over 4 to the squared, which is going to be equal to 1 over 16. Now looking at the number 3, we have 10 to the negative 3. The minus 3 is going to lead us to put 1 over 10 and remove the negative power but keep the original number. This is going to be 1 over 1000. Now looking at number 4, this is slightly more tricky. 1 over 1/5, so this is going to be 1 over 1/5. This is cubed. So remember, we remove the negative power. And if we're to think about this, this is 1 divided by 1/5, right? So if we're to do our NCF method, we're going to change the sign to times and flip the second fraction, which is going to be 5, and then bring in your power. So the answer is 5 cubed. Okay, moving on to some fractional indices. So a fractional index, where it means when you have a combination of a power and a root. The denominator of the fraction tells you which root to take, and the numerator tells you the power. So if we're looking at a to the fraction of m and n, we take the nth root of a, so the denominator's root of a, the base, and then square or put to the power of the numerator, so in this case m. Okay, so now if we're looking at 25 to the power of 1/2, we have to take the power, or sorry, the square root or the root function of the denominator. So we have 25 square rooted and then to the power of the numerator, which is 1. So this is just going to be root 25, which is going to be equal to 5 in its simplest form. Now looking at 27, we have to cube root our 27 because 3 is our denominator here. Put brackets around there and put it to the power of our numerator, which is going to be just the cubed root of 27. In its simplest form, this is going to be 3. Now, looking at this one, we have to take the 4th root, because that's our denominator, the 4th root of 16, put that in brackets and cube it. So the 4th root of 16 is going to be 2. 2 cubed is 8. So this is going to be 2 cubed, which is going to be equal to 8. Then looking at this one, we have to take the 3rd root, so the cube root of our 8, close the brackets and square it. So cube root of 8 is going to be 2 squared, because that's our numerator, is going to give us an answer of 4. Okay, moving on to questions where they ask us to mix the two topics. So 16 to a negative half, first thing we're going to do is deal with our negative sign. So this is going to lead us to do 1 over 16, and this is going to be to the power of a half. Now when we have a fraction to the power of a half, we apply our same rules of our fractional Okay, so now we're going to look at some questions where we're asked to combine the two topics. So looking at the first question, we have to do 16 to the power of negative a half. So remember, this negative sign is going to cause us to write 1 over 16 to the power of a half. Now we use our fractional indices knowledge, and whatever we do to the numerator, we have to do to the denominator. So we have to apply them separately. So first things we do is we square root 1, and square it over square root of 16, because 2 is our denominator, and then, oh, that's not squared, that's just to the power of 1. This is the power of 1, and we're going to get 1 over the square root of 16 is 4, so 1 to the power of 1 over 4 to the power of 1 is just 1 over 4. Now looking at 125 to the negative 2/3, we're going to get 1 over 125 to the power of 2/3. And then what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to cube root, because 3 is our denominator, and cube root 125, and individually square them. So the cubed root of 1 is just 1, and the cubed root of 125 is 5. So we're going to have 1 squared over 5 squared. 1 squared is just 1, 5 squared is 25. Now, looking at this question, we have 27 over 64 to the power of negative 2/3. To get rid of the minus, we flip the fraction to get 64 over 27 to the power of 2/3. Now, we look at our denominator and we cube root our 64 and we cube root our 27, and then we individually square them both. The cube root of 64 is 4, so we're going to have 4 squared on top, and the cube root of 27 is 3, so we're going to have 3 squared on the bottom. Now 4 squared is 16, and 3 squared is 9, so that is our fraction. So the way we solve a question like this is to apply our operations to our x. So we look at our denominator and we see that that is 2, so we square root our x, and our numerator is 3, so we cube our root x, and we say it's equal to 27. And now we have an equation where we can sort of deal with it. We then say, let's cube root both sides to get rid of our cubed function on the left hand side. So we get root x is equal to the cubed root of 27. So root x is going to be equal to 3. Now to remove our square root function, we square both sides. So we get x is equal to 3 squared, so x is equal to 9. And that is our answer. Okay, that's going to conclude today's video on fractional and negative indices. As always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.